Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, you know, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. That should brighten your day a little. Actually, a lot. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Every lottery ticket purchase keeps education in our state moving forward. In fact, the lottery has raised more than $200 million for state school buses to get our students to school safely every day. Then, the lottery helps those students go even further in their education by funding the Life, Hope, and Palmetto Fellow Scholarships. So remember, when you play the lottery, you're keeping South Carolina students on the road to success. Learn more at sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
Ever wondered what it feels like to be a gladiator, facing a roaring crowd and potential death in the Colosseum? Find out on the Ancients podcast from History Hit. Twice a week, join me, Tristan Hughes, as I hear exciting new research about people living thousands of years ago, from the Babylonians to the Celts to the Romans, and visit the ancient sites which reveal who and just how amazing our distant ancestors were. That's the Ancients from History Hit.
I don't know how you found us,
but I'm so thankful that you did. It's John, Jay, and Rich.
I think I'm going to take off just like where it says the
You
names.
so
we don't even have to redo the art.
Just cut it off?
Yeah, man.
I mean, you know, I think it works. I think it's fine.
So welcome to the JJR BTS version 3.0, I guess.
I was going to say, because you and JoJo did it.
We did it for
did it for like 5 years.
We did it for a very long time.
Very long time.
We did 130 episodes, I think, together.
And they told us in podcast school, way back when, that you should know how your listenership is when you get to 50 episodes. How were you guys doing?
We were doing great.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think you were doing
I think still has. I think the feed is still have it.
It's still active.
Yeah, and it still has a lot of people like re-listening. So people will be excited. But as most things, change and evolve. Obviously, Joey's not here. Nick's here.
Wait, where is Joey?
I'm the only connective tissue that's keeping the, like, it's like a band when half the members are dead, like Earth, Wind, and Fire. And they're like, we're still Earth, Wind, and Fire, but it's like 12 college kids. There's
something funny about you went with just death instead of like a band that breaks up and then adds new members.
Yeah.
No, they have to be dead.
I was thinking about it the other day, this morning, driving into work, and I was thinking I kind of invested too much into this podcast thing.
Like the podcasting overall, or this specific podcast?
This started it.
Yeah.
And then I've fully invested in podcasting, which there's really been no professional benefit for me podcasting for the last, 7 years.
You guys have, because you have 3 podcasts additional now?
How to Become a Terrible Person.
1.
And then I have How to Become a Terrible Person Premium.
2.
But I guess that's part of all the same thing. And then I have My Funeral Home Stories, which is the big one. And then I have the AI Author.
So 3.5.
Yeah, and then technically this.
Yeah. Now this.
Yeah, now this.
This
again.
was such a, you know what, Grant? I don't think I get enough praise that this was my idea to bring this back.
We've talked about it.
Yeah, we have. We've talked about it, but it's like, it's one of those things where Grant and I used to be the people on the show that kind of had a lot of time on our hands.
We mattered the least.
Yeah, we definitely mattered the least.
And now arguably you matter the most. I still matter probably the least out of everyone, if we're being honest here.
But we've never been busier overall, and it's like let's add this voluntarily to our plates.
But I think the thing that we've decided is virtually no editing.
Yeah. I think it's one take.
All the podcasts I listen to just start and they end.
Yeah.
And there's really no editing.
Yeah.
And that's the stuff I enjoy the most.
Yeah, you get it or you don't. That's one thing. I listen to Pod Meets World a lot. It's basically the only podcast I'm listening to currently, and they have a little more editing than what kind of how I like. Like all my wrestling podcasts are 3.5 hours, and there's not a single edit in any of them. But
the way Kate and I, when we do How to Become a Terrible Person, the way we've decided to make that work is we don't edit really the one people pay for.
Okay.
We should.
Yeah. We
really
from
should.
what you've
Not for
what you've described.
Yeah, it's just it's a wild thing, but I don't know. I think we just sit down and we talk.
Yeah.
And we just get to the hot issues.
That's the thing. It's BTS stands for big things sucking.
It's going to be really hard for me to not swear or not get into any conspiratorial stuff or do anything that's wildly inappropriate. So
it'll be interesting when we both get fired from the show and we can go back and do an actual BTS and talk about how our lives are in that room specifically.
I for sure thought I would be fired by now. And that's not being pessimistic. That's actually the most realistic thing.
It's not like you've been actively working towards it.
Yeah, dude.
but you just assumed that it was going to happen.
Yeah, 100, and it just hasn't yet. So thank you, bless you all. I was thinking as we were walking in, you were on the phone with somebody, and it was one of those phone calls that just kept going and going and going. Does your wife, Caitlin, call you when she's in the car?
Yes.
There is nothing more aggravating than when you get a phone call and you hear, the first thing you hear is, and you're like, cool, Caitlin doesn't need anything. She just wants to, you're like a time filler.
Yeah, you just are there specifically to keep her company.
And it's always a conversation, because I have Caitlin, my fiance Caitlin. You have a wife named Caitlin.
And I have your fiance Caitlin.
Yeah, absolutely. She lives with you.
Hey, it's Ryan Seacrest. Life comes at you fast, which is why it's important to find some time to relax. A little you time. Enter Chumba Casino. With no download required, you can jump on anytime, anywhere for the chance to redeem some serious prizes. So treat yourself with Chumba Casino and play over 100 online casino-style games, all for free. Go to ChumbaCasino.com to collect your free welcome bonus. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Ever wondered what it feels like to be a gladiator, facing a roaring crowd and potential death in the Colosseum? Find out on the Ancients podcast from History Hit. Twice a week, join me, Tristan Hughes, as I hear exciting new research about people living thousands of years ago, from the Babylonians to the Celts to the Romans, and visit the ancient sites which reveal who and just how amazing our distant ancestors were. That's the Ancients from History Hit.
At Arizona State University, we're bringing world-class education from our globally acclaimed faculty to you. Ranked #1 in innovation for 10 consecutive years and #2 among public universities for employability, ASU isn't just ahead of the curve, it's creating new paths to success. Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online, that's a degree better. Explore more than 300 undergraduate, graduate, and certificate programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
We do this thing where I will call her in the car only when necessary. And I'll just be like, hi. Just calling to say hi and goodbye. Mm-hmm. Love you, sweetheart. Boom. End of story. She'll call and she'll be like, I'm just calling to say hi. And I'll be like, okay, hello. Thinking
the end.
The end. And then it'll be like, you'll just hear, and I'll always say, so what else? And she gets so fired up when I hit her with the what else that I don't know. It's just that's
why she moved in with me.
Yeah, but nothing more annoying. What's more annoying in a relationship than when somebody uses you as a time filler?
Yeah, no. Well, for me, it's when my Caitlin is specifically driving home, and she calls.
Like, and then she's coming home at like what time does she come home?
I mean, it just depends. Honestly, it just depends on the day. Like if you're calling me to let me know, hey, I'm on my way.
Yeah.
Like that's a 30-second phone call. Great. That's what I needed. But when it gets into like, I'm on my way home. Mm-hmm. When are you picking up the kids? Am I picking up the kids? Da 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 da. Da, 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 da. What are we going to do for dinner? Hey, this weekend we have this, this, and this. How are we going to balance that out? Like, this is something we could talk about when you get home.
Yeah, you're going to be home in like 10 minutes.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be right this second. And I think like that specifically will drive me really crazy in like the worst possible ways. I'm just looking at the KZZP log right now. They have 10 minutes of commercials coming up.
Nick and I both just looked at each other like, this is going to take a while.
Yeah. We looked at each other like,
we're like, oh, God.
Like, man, I hope neither one of them listens to this.
And also, we should have prepped for this.
Well, I think part of this is an experiment, too.
100%.
Right? It's an experiment, and we just see how.
And the thing that sucks, I was thinking
is.
about podcasting last night, not to make this all about podcasting, but if you're a true crime podcaster just starting your podcast out,
you're a piece of shit.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Take that, True Crime Garage. Also, too, at a certain point, what are you going to talk about? And also, that's you spend all your week planning for an episode, right?
Right.
A 3-hour deep dive into some case. But at a certain point, you run out of cases.
Yeah.
There's only so many Ted Bundy stories that we know about. There's probably hundreds of thousands of serial killers, right?
So what is it? My Favorite Murder? Is that like the original one with the two comedian women? I don't know. It's super annoying. That was the beginning and end of that story. By the way, it was. I get on my nerves.
I get mentioned in a lot of the forums with like some of those true crime people.
Yeah, and
I hate it.
It's me.
But it's people like, oh, if you like My Favorite Murderer, you would also like Grant Inman's My Funeral Home Stories. I'm like, no, you wouldn't, dude. What are you talking about? Are you crazy?
Well, those specifically are podcasts that are bringing up cases to make them interesting, rather than the case being interesting on its own. Like, there's a reason why Ted Bundy and Ted Kaczynski and any Ted is
the movie.
Yeah, Ted the movie. There's a reason.
Ted 2.
Ted Brady. that those are interesting. It's because people are interested.
I'm holding my tongue. You know how I am. I'm having a real problem right now. You brought up Ted Kaczynski, and I'm just like salivating to get out as many words as possible about Ted Kaczynski.
Deep breaths.
I read his manifesto.
That tracks.
And I gotta say, dude, it's pretty good. It's a pretty good manifesto, dude. Like, if you're gonna take the time to read a manifesto, actually, there's a book on tape version. Somebody read it on YouTube. And that's how I took it in.
Oh.
And the first half is you're like, well, this guy's got some interesting points. And then it kind of fades into the darkness a little bit towards the end. But
when the Unabomber things were happening,
we were very young.
We were very young.
We were probably 4 or 5 years old, maybe.
I would say like at my oldest was probably 10. I would think it's no older than that.
They're saying he actually didn't take credit for a lot of the stuff that was attributed to him, which is fascinating.
We're starting down that road.
Yeah, dude,
here we go.
Sorry, man, I can't swear. I've got I'm in handcuffs right now.
Well,
Nick.
you can swear. We're not the core four. The whole thing was the four of them saying.
I guess you're right.
Dirty language.
So get ready.
But what I was gonna ask was when you were that age and like the Unabomber was at large.
I was terrified.
Were you convinced that he was gonna leave a bomb at your house?
Dude, there were two things I thought as a kid. One, the Unabomber was gonna blow up my house. 2, Ace of Base was gonna come over and hang out with me.
Is that
100%. I listened to
wait, why Ace of Base specifically?
I was obsessed. The Way You Are with Blink-182 was me with Ace of Base, dude. I had the album, The Sign. I would put it on my little tape, my Walkman, and I would just hang out, and I'd do the pool filter, do the chores around the thing. And I would convince myself probably once a week that their tour bus was just going to pull up, and I was going to be like, hey, guys, and they were going to hang out with me. And I was always planning for Ace of Base to come over and hang out. But
it makes sense. Like, why wouldn't Ace of Base be in?
But I had no idea they were from Sweden, and they weren't just hanging out in like northern Indiana on like a Tuesday in June.
My thought is like immediately goes to Ace of Base didn't appear on Full House, but Stephanie Tanner's band covered the sign,
yeah.
And I thought maybe that's what led you down. No, it was just you liked them so much.
Can I say something that might come off as has anyone seen Kimmy Gibbler in a while?
Like since Fuller House?
Oh, she was on Fuller House?
She was on, she was one of the
Does
three
she look
leads.
the exact same?
She looks pretty much the exact same. I mean, aged up.
Because I always thought she was going to grow up to be like a really ugly adult. Like every time I saw it, I'd be like, ugh. As a kid. Do you think there were kids?
No
do you think there were kids that watched Full House and were like, I don't really like the Tanner girls, but that Kimmy Gibbler. Whew.
I mean, because some compare her to Urkel.
Yeah, she
kind of took over the show because she was so goofy and whatever. Like to a lesser extent, because Steve was his own man.
I didn't like the Kimmy Gibbler stuff on any of the show. If there was a Kimmy Gibbler episode where it was really Kimmy Gibbler heavy,
so then don't even attempt Fuller House because she is a prominent figure.
We're clearly making this for 18 to 34-year-old women right now, but she reminded me of if you made Aunt Jackie a little kid from Roseanne, like the same type of annoying intensity, right? There's like the same vibe.
I get it. I think Kimmy was a little quirkier, and Jackie was weirder. Like I think Kimmy was like the next door neighbor. She'd come over and she'd be wearing like pants with like pink diamonds all down it, and Jackie would come over and she would be wearing the same design, but it would be a shirt.
Oh, okay.
And be kind of ugly. Like Kimmy marched to the beat of her own drummer. Jackie was just weird.
Roseanne. It's funny. I remember always watching it as a kid, but I can't tell you. I remember the restaurant seasons where she worked with. What was the guy's name? Her boss that was gay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know who you're. Martin Mull.
Yeah. And
Listen, I'll take credit for that, Paul.
Dude,
it was.
Hey, if you're 18 to 34 right now, you're losing your mind.
You are just in too deep.
Did you see the guy who's all about this anti-aging stuff? I'm just gonna bring up topics. This is like,
so we've abandoned Roseanne.
Roseanne is gone.
Okay.
Yeah, but Roseanne, I was just trying to make the point that Kimmy Gibbler and Jackie are the same.
Okay.
They are identical.
Don't watch Fuller House.
Okay. I was so mad at the Carly Rae Jepsen version of the theme song.
That's weird because you love her.
I love Carly Rae Jepsen, but I just was like, this is not a good send up. It was just kind of
It just didn't do it for you.
But no, there's this guy I think he's 45 years old. He founded this company called Braintree, and he is essentially trying to stop aging.
Oh.
And he's doing these things where it's like a triple generational blood transfusion. So it's his son. He takes his son's blood and puts it in his body, and then he takes his blood and gives it to his dad. And they have these they sit around with IVs and hold each other's hands and give each other their blood.
Oh.
Is that something you'd be interested in?
No.
What happened?
Hard pass.
What happened to like the era of just? I guess technology wasn't there. That's why people had to age gracefully back in the day, right?
Yeah, but I mean, there is a stigma to getting older too, though. There's a stigma that it's like you're getting older, now you're lame, or now you are less useful.
Well, you know
than
more.
You were before.
I mean, maybe you're not functionally as,
Listen, man, I love other than like the physical toll that my body goes through every single day, just getting out of bed. I love getting older. You're right. I know more. I feel like I worry about things that are significant now, whereas I look at myself 15 years ago and I worried about everything except for what I should be. Like retirement? No.
How to have fun anytime, anywhere. Step 1, go to ChumbaCasino.com.
ChumbaCasino.com. Got it.
Step 2, collect your welcome bonus.
Come to Papa Welcome Bonus.
Step 3, play hundreds of casino-style games for free.
That's a lot of games. All for free?
Step 4, unleash your excitement.
Woohoo!
Chumba Casino has been delivering thrills for over a decade. So claim your free welcome bonus now and live the Chumba life. Visit ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, I'm Don Wildman, and on American History Hit, my expert guests and I journey across the nation and through the years to uncover the stories that have made the United States. From first flight to first ladies, From stitching the Star-Spangled Banner to striking gold in California to shooting for the moon with Apollo, we've got you covered. Catch new episodes of American History Hit, a podcast by History Hit, every Monday and Thursday wherever you get your podcasts.
Who cares?
Dude, I'm not there yet.
Yeah,
I'm not going to make it.
You're not going to make it to retirement age.
Are you kidding me, dude?
Well,
middle age was like 15 for me, dude.
Blood transfusion.
I'm on my way out unless I get a blood transfusion.
Blood transfusion.
Blood.
It's okay, bud. It's all right. Take a deep breath. It's all right.
I'm so worked up.
Just been drinking all morning.
I haven't had I guess in August it'll be 11 years. I haven't had a drop of alcohol.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah, it sucks.
That
you know, aside from having a fiance and a life that's like kind of functional, nothing has improved.
You know what's weird is that like now I'm thinking back, and I don't think it was something you broadcast that you were sober when I first started.
Yeah,
so if it's been 11 years, that means you were about 3 years.
Yeah,
sober when I met you for the first time.
Dude, when I like sobered up the first year, that's like all I talked about, and I was so annoying about it. It's like, I'm a sober guy.
Was it like a brag, or was it,
Yeah.
or was it just like you wanted to make like?
Well, most of the time it was
motivational.
me reminding people that I couldn't go get hammered.
Mm.
I'd be like, I'm sober now.
That tracks.
And they'd be like, ugh. Like I was in a band for a while, sober, and that sucked. That just sucked. I got arrested. Oh, no. The reason I got sober is because I got arrested with this reggae band. And I just was like, oh, I better hang it up.
Yeah, I don't think I got like I got some of your darker tales.
Oh, dude.
But I don't know that I ever heard like the crux of what happened.
Oh, man.
And what led.
Literally,
it's
funny now. I mean, it was kind of funny at the time. But the weekend I stopped drinking. Like on Friday, I blacked out and drove to Chipotle 3 times at 3 different times. I went at like 1 p.m., 4 p.m., and then 7 p.m. And I have a feeling by the time I pulled up at 7 p.m., I just took up like 4 parking spots. Burrito bowl. I don't condone that behavior now, and I'm shocked. I should have gotten DUI.
Right.
Like that. I mean,
yeah.
100%. And that scares me now. I would never do that again because I don't drink. But then like the next night, I think I had 3 40s. And I woke up choking on my own vomit.
Good God.
On my back. And I gave myself the Heimlich maneuver on my bed. Yeah. Otherwise, I would have been toast. And then that's when I was like, dude, I gotta chill out.
So was it cold turkey? You were just like,
yeah. And then I found out that was extremely dangerous with the amount that I drank. But yeah. And no, what was funny is it was cold turkey, and I told everybody I was sober, but I was drinking a bottle of cough syrup a day. Like I went from like
hilarious.
I would go get a bottle of ZQuil at like 6 p.m. and I'd get home and I started with the little cups. I'd be like, I'm gonna have 2 cups of these and then I'm gonna go to bed. And then because I couldn't sleep, I just like there was no sleeping because I was so medicated for so many years. And then I just started just pounding a bottle. So I'd go get a bottle of that and then like a bag of Starburst and a bag of like Butterfinger minis. I'd just eat candy and drink cough syrup all night. And then I'd stay up as late as I could until I remember one night I convinced myself I couldn't breathe. I couldn't take a breath. I was just sitting there like, but I was clearly breathing the whole time.
Like you're doing that with your mouth.
Yeah.
But your nose is perfectly functional fine.
And then I couldn't swallow one night and I was just sitting there trying to swallow and I couldn't. And I was like, this is my life now.
Oh man.
But yeah, not to make this. I don't mean to make this all about me.
Well, why would you not make it all about you?
Yeah, if you listen to JJR BTS in the past, you know that's what this is.
I've only been around someone because they call it robo tripping, right?
Oh yeah.
That his name was Tom, and he was like. I didn't drink until I was 21. So my early college years was just me babysitting, basically.
Oh, dude, that sucks,
know.
Yeah.
And so the Tom decided he was gonna robo trip one night, and so then he did, and he was like, "All I need you to do is make sure I don't drink anything.
Yeah.
Like I don't drink any type of alcohol, whatever." And then he just spent the whole night like a little squirrel, like running from alcohol to alcohol, and I'd be like literally like taking cups out of his hand because I was just like, you will die. I don't understand. First of all, I don't understand why you're doing this to begin with. I can't wrap my brain around it. And then secondly, I'm not gonna let you do this and something happen on my watch because it is quite literally my watch.
100%.
It's at my home. And you've asked me to babysit.
Can I tell you about one of the best birthdays I've ever had?
Oh, God.
So I was working at the shoe store selling shoes. I was a shoe salesman, and I had like a head cold.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought, you know what? I'm gonna get some Theraflu. You know, and this was like the DM version or whatever. And so I'm at the shoe store. It's like 9:30 in the morning. I just went to the drugstore, got the stuff, and I drank. Over the course of like 3 hours, I drank the whole bottle of cough syrup at work.
Ugh.
And then I literally woke up the next day in my apartment and was just like, happy birthday. and went back to check the numbers at the shoe store, and I had just sold like $2,000 worth of shoes that day. I blacked out the whole thing. It was like one of the best birthdays I've ever had. I do not condone. You should never robo-trip. Don't try it. Right?
I mean,
we should tell people. We should tell.
You got commission off that.
I'm making it sound really cool, but
no, it is absolutely extremely dangerous. And you should not. No, you should not do that. Like, period.
Listen, guys, let's get serious. Let's stop down and get serious. Don't do drugs. Nothing good will come of it.
What is it? If it comes from dirt, it won't hurt. Is that what they? Is that something people say?
I mean,
obviously not, because you didn't understand a single thing I just said.
Well, let's break it down. We got marijuana. It's from the dirt.
Yeah.
Maybe mushrooms from the dirt.
Yeah.
I can't think. What else is from the dirt? Cocaine?
Cocaine? Do you grow cocaine?
I mean, you have coca leaves.
I mean, look, man, we are touching on things that I have no experience on.
Let me tell you a little bit about cocaine.
Fine, you did great.
So
look at you now.
So what else is in the news, Nick? What else we got going on today?
It was I mean, I feel like I've been saying this a lot recently, but it was a very long week.
The longest
on the John Jay
week
Rich show
in history
this week.
Why? What is making what are these? Wow.
Hello. I think part of
welcome to the podcast.
Grant had a stroke, and so
do I sound different now?
It started. I'm having a stroke.
I think I'm having a stroke right now.
I think for me this week specifically is like I broke it down in the middle with the Blink-182 show.
Oh,
and
brutal.
so like Thursday was very, very rough for me. But overall, I think we have a lot of meetings.
Yeah,
and there are a lot of things that we like that we don't have they're not optional anymore. And so I think that's the biggest the biggest difference now, because it was Monday, we had like a full 2-hour meeting, and
oh yeah, I didn't have to go to that.
Yeah, you didn't. Yeah, you
listen, as one of the non-core 4 members of the show, there's a lot of things I don't get the pleasure of doing.
You just
and I was so happy when it was 11 o'clock and I was sitting on my couch like high as a kite, just doing.
Nick has 3 hours of work left.
Playing Mario Kart, just being like, "My life is so great, nothing could go wrong." Yeah,
I'm gonna start calling you on those days and being like, "Hey, man, I gotta."
Dude, I
bet
you talked me off a ledge like 2 weeks ago when I covered for you, because we have this thing where you have to send all the files for the John Jay and Rich show to all like the affiliates and all the cities.
Yeah, there's a bunch of things that they have
Nick,
to have.
You know, you probably know a lot of people with OCD who are dealing with it in a functional way.
Mm-hmm.
I have OCD and I'm not handling it well. I'm not doing anything right with it. I just am like, I'm the guy who I have to like, Kate will be asleep at 4 a.m. and I'm like pulling on the doorknob, just making sure it's locked. And then I have to walk down the stairs and come back up and do it again. And so you were like, hey, can you cover for me? Sure thing. But I'm paranoid that I didn't get these things sent to the affiliates because there were some technical issues. So there was one button that I was supposed to push, and no one told me I was only supposed to push this button once.
And to be fair, that is not something that I was told either.
Right. So when I thought the show was messing up, when I thought there was an issue at 2:00 in the afternoon, I pushed it 3 times. And then I laid down to take a nap, and I was like, I hope I pushed that button. So then I got back up from the nap, and I pushed it 4 or 5 more times. And then after the nap, I woke up, and I was like, gee whiz, I sure hope that went through. So I logged back in, pushed it, I don't know, 3 more times. And then I emailed the guy who runs all this stuff, and he said...
He's like the technical person that makes sure this stuff gets sent to the appropriate places.
And he said, or I was like, hey, I just want to make sure everything went through fine. And he just responds, yeah, it went through fine. But one of the guys on your team pushed the button like 9 times in the span, and he listed all the he had a time code for every time I pushed the button, and he was like, that literally sent all the files to all the affiliates 9 times or whatever it was. And he literally used the phrase, a colossal waste of resources. and I called everyone on my phone and was like, I'm going to get fired. This is it. And then Nick was on a plane, so he couldn't respond for a few hours. And I was smoking a cigar, and Nick was texting me on the plane being like, don't worry about it. It's no big deal. And so I was like, the next day I'm going to come in and there's going to be a reckoning, right? I'm going to get called into an office. This whole thing's going to go down. And I came in the next morning, and at 5:03, 5:02 in the morning, when the show is just starting,
I forgot about this part.
The station goes off the air completely.
I haven't been there in 3 days.
Yeah.
I come back and immediately everything shuts down.
Not just like radio, a bed playing dun, 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 that sort of thing. It was dead air, which is the worst thing you can have. Just complete hiss.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I did this. This is me. I'm gonna get killed when they find out.
You were so nervous. So take it. So then this is from what happened in my perspective, right? Oof. So as far as I know, I've spent the weekend in Illinois with my family. And as far as I know, everything has gone fine. There are a couple things here and there that I needed to take care of, but overall...
But no, you literally left the minimal amount of responsibility. You were like, the day before and this day are pre-recorded, don't worry about it. All you have to do is handle Tuesday. And I was like, I got it.
And so like I have 2 very young children. One just turned 3. The other one is right around 1.5 years. And so... like, we're battling them going through the St. Louis airport. Flight gets delayed, and we finally get there. The kids are sitting. They have their snacks. We have Mickey Mouse on.
Hell yeah.
And the plane just starts moving, and my phone rings. It's like, I see it's Grant, and I'm like, okay, it's about noon there. What could be wrong?
Why would Grant need me?
And it's like the plane is going up. And like I should have had my phone on airplane mode at that point and didn't. So I text Grant. I'm like, hey man, I'm on the flight. What's going on? And it was like, Grant's response is something extensive. Man, I think I really screwed this up.
No, here you go. This is at 2. So we were having other issues, and then at 2:44, I texted you after we hadn't talked since noon, and I said, hey, can you call me when you have a free sec? I know you're traveling, but whenever. I hope I didn't F up too bad with the Premiere computer stuff today. I'm spiraling about it. No rush, though.
No rush, though.
And I just kept checking my phone and being like, maybe my notifications aren't on.
and then the Wi-Fi was broken on the plane.
Dude, me breaking down.
And so I couldn't respond to the text message, and Caitlin was like, my wife, is like, is everything okay? And I was like, I'm not sure, but Grant's really worried right now, and I can do nothing about it.
I said, I ran that macro a bunch of times because I wasn't sure I hit it because of the black screen. And so-and-so looked at it and was like, you created the same cart number over 6 times, and it was a colossal waste of resources. I don't know, man. I think I'm probably in legitimate trouble. Then you responded, being cool, and then I was like, well, man, I effed up. And you and our big boss are on the email. I'm sorry for messing up so bad while you were out. I just hope I don't get fired, man. From my understanding, the show was delivered, but I don't know if that was the right stuff delivered. I definitely created the carts, though. Oh, and then let's see. That was then an hour later. There are some words in here I can't say. Thank you for talking me down a bit. I still feel like an a-hole, and I'm sick about it. I literally figured it would just overwrite the files instead of creating new copies, and panicked when I didn't see it was working.
So, we land, and then my phone literally just won't stop dinging because of all the emails and stuff that I was receiving as well. And I was like,
It is Ryan Seacrest here. There was a recent social media trend which consisted of flying on a plane with no music, no movies, no entertainment. But a better trend would be going to ChumbaCasino.com. It's like having a mini social casino in your pocket. Chumba Casino has over 100 online casino-style games, all absolutely free. It's the most fun you can have online and on a plane. So grab your free welcome bonus now at ChumbaCasino.com. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, I'm Don Wildman, and on American History Hit, my expert guests and I journey across the nation and through the years to uncover the stories that have made the United States. From first flight to first ladies, from stitching the Star-Spangled Banner to striking gold in California to shooting for the moon with Apollo, we've got you covered. Catch new episodes of American History Hit, a podcast by History Hit, every Monday and Thursday wherever you get your podcasts.
Man, look, worst case scenario,
stuff happens.
It's okay. It'll be okay.
It was a learning thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but then at 8:00, I can tell I was talked down a bit because I just said, John Jay just sent me 4 calls to book for tomorrow, rolling my eyes at 8 p.m. So yeah.
And then immediately the next morning, it was just
dead air and
giant fire.
And then
that lasted all day.
That was all morning. Yeah. We couldn't go live, right? There was some major issue.
Yeah, no, we couldn't go live. We had to record everything beforehand and basically turn things around in real time, because when we were live, for whatever reason, it wasn't transmitting correctly.
Did you watch any of the Chimp Kingdom? Chimp what's it called?
Olympics.
Chimp Empire.
No.
On Netflix?
I cannot even tell you, you're speaking a different language.
Well, so it's about, I guess they're chimps. I guess that makes sense. They're chimpanzees, I guess. And a documentary film crew followed them around and watched the group and the dynamic. And basically they do everything like we do. So they have little cliques. They go to war with each other, but it's real. It's this isn't CGI or anything. This documentary film crew watching, and they hunt smaller monkeys, and they show them doing this, and it's really bothersome. I don't know why I'm bringing it up right now, but I just thought about it. But they do this thing where they'll chase a monkey up a tree, a little monkey, and then another monkey will be on the other side of the tree. So when he comes down, and then they'll grab it, and as it's they'll just grab it and then they tear its arms off instantly. They're so strong, dude.
No, chimpanzees are legitimate.
I guess so. If you're listening to this podcast and that sounds like something you'd be interested in, check it out on Netflix.
You cannot describe the strength that chimpanzees, gorillas, even spider monkeys are abnormally strong.
Have you ever had a spider run at you real fast?
A spider?
Yeah.
I'd not to attack me, I don't think.
You're not living, dude.
Hey, have you been chased? Have you been just getting chased by spiders and chimpanzees for a week?
I got chased by a spider the other day, and I was like, ah!
What kind of spider chased you? Where are people seeing all of these exotic animals and things? I've lived here almost a decade, and I have seen one coyote in the parking lot here, one coyote in my front yard, like probably a year ago, and one scorpion that stung my wife the night before our wedding.
Did she have to go get like an antidote?
They had to get her something. I can't remember what it was.
She has a prosthetic leg now because of the scorpion.
Yeah, well, yeah, and I don't know where they put the other one.
What? So where'd she get bit?
She got bit on her boobie. She got bit on her stomach, and then
I vaguely
on her
remember
back.
this. Yeah,
Yeah, it was crazy.
Was it in
on her.
bed?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I woke up to her like a blood curdling scream.
Well, you guys were homeless
and
at
I
the time.
sat. Yeah,
I mean-
no, we were on the bench right outside the Circle K.
Excuse me, unsheltered.
Okay.
Do you know you? God,
easy.
Darn it.
Easy.
Darn it, Nick.
You have a.
I literally just got a topic I wanted to talk about. I was like, I can't talk about this.
I can't do it now.
So
it's fine.
No, I got chased. I got chased by a spider the other day, and I was just like, no.
How big was the spider?
Probably about silver dollar.
Yeah.
I'm probably what, 3 bills, 4 bills, 400 pounds. Just getting chased around. My downstairs neighbor. Boom, 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 boom.
God damn!
Did you see the whale?
The whale's on top of me.
Did you?
Dude, I freaking loved the whale.
I need to watch it. I've seen clips. People have sent me clips, and I'm like, I feel like this would just bum me out.
You haven't even watched it?
No.
Oh man,
I saw the binge eating scene, and I was like, this is right.
There
up my alley.
is not a happy moment.
Oh really?
Really, in the entire movie, but it's fascinating. Brendan Fraser lived up to the hype. But I my wife is more of a person who loves happy endings. Like she kind of likes the generic oh, everything's okay. And then
Darren Aronofsky doesn't.
It's kind of the opposite of that. He just kind of gives you the story of what it is. But
life isn't. They aren't happy endings.
I mean, typically no.
Yeah.
All lives do end in death.
100%. Dude, I'm immortal.
You know
I'm getting
what I
a blood
mean?
transfusion today from my son.
You're getting it currently.
From your son.
From my son.
Yeah, we got him. Theo's in the studio right now.
Grant has this photo saved on his phone that will randomly just pull up
and send to the group.
My son got his first haircut a month ago. And he's just sitting in this fire truck getting his hair cut, and he's mesmerized by the television. But Grant was like, I can't stop looking at this photo.
Yeah,
and he legit just sends it out arbitrarily.
His little body, it's like he's got what is it? It's not an apron. It's like a cape. What do you call that?
Capron.
Is that,
I don't know what they call it. I mean,
the thing, if if you do hair, you know what I'm talking about.
Call us, 877-937-1407.
Give me a call on my cell phone number, 574-849-6975. That's my old college cell phone number. Do not call it.
But if you do,
tell him Grant says hi. I'm sure that guy, because that was my number when I was peak drinking.
Where you're just handing it out to everybody.
One time I had a gig in Rock City, Iowa, where I was opening up for Megadeth. Pretty cool. Wow. Pretty cool show, right? Grant and Megadeth. An evening with Grant Inman and Megadeth. No, I was in this band called Fiend, and we were, whatever, just kind of boring alt rock. And I got business cards made 3 days before, and I got a box of 500 business cards. And I woke up at the hotel the next morning, and I opened up the box of business cards, and I had given half away. And my phone was just blowing up all night. And I that was one of those, before I went on stage, I had 4 Long Island iced teas.
Oh my God.
And then I drank 6 tall cans of Coors. I think it was at the time. The tall cans of Coors.
Banquet or the Silver Bullet?
Silver Bullet, dude.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you, and not to circle back to this, but now I'm generally interested. But so when you decide, okay, I have a problem, I need to fix my life. Is that part of the reason why you would change your cell phone number so you don't so you're not interacting with the same people that would in that circle?
No, I legitimately just didn't pay my phone bill.
Okay,
got shut off.
No, hey man,
I didn't have a phone. I didn't have a cell phone for a minute.
Good for you.
And then I didn't. I mean, like months. It wasn't like years or anything. But I also stopped locking my apartment door.
You're just like inviting hell into your life.
And I lived in a crummy place, but I would just shut the door and leave, and I'd go out for like a few hours, come back, just open the door. But my like mental state was fuck it.
Like, just
who cares?
Just gonna let it happen.
Yeah, man. I got renters. I think I have renters insurance. I was pretty cool back then.
I don't know. Does everybody go through that though? Like a time in their life where they just don't feel like they have anything to not live for, but it's just like I just don't give a shit. Like I don't have anything that's important enough to really care about, because I went through a little bit of that too.
Sure.
Like when I lived in Chicago, it was the worst year of my life. Like I got mugged. I got fired from the only job I've ever been let go from was there, and I was unemployed essentially for that entire year. And I moved to Chicago for this job, right? And there came a point where it's just like I just stopped trying. Like altogether, I just stopped trying. Like I got parking ticket after parking ticket after parking ticket, and I just didn't care. When I knew that it was going to be a problem, I would leave when like the certain hours were that you can get ticketed. I would drive my car to a Walmart parking lot and sleep until I could drive the car back and park again, because I couldn't afford anything.
Yep.
I just didn't care. I was buying like the grossest Trader Joe's beer but because that was the only thing I could afford.
100%, man.
And I feel like everybody goes through, whether it's a year or just a few months, maybe even a couple weeks, where you're just like, I can't.
Have you heard the concept, or it's not really a theory, I think it's more truth, but time is a flat circle? Do you know what that means? It's like it's like a record. You know, there's a needle in the groove. Eventually, it all circles back. I feel like you go through phases where
Ryan Seacrest here. When you have a busy schedule, it's important to maximize your downtime. One of the best ways to do that is by going to ChumbaCasino.com. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino games like spin slots, bingo, and solitaire that you can play for free for a chance to redeem some serious prizes. So hop on to ChumbaCasino.com now and live the Chumba life. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Ever wondered what it feels like to be a gladiator, facing a roaring crowd and potential death in the Colosseum? Find out on the Ancients podcast from History Hit. Twice a week, join me, Tristan Hughes, as I hear exciting new research about people living thousands of years ago, from the Babylonians to the Celts to the Romans, and visit the ancient sites which reveal who and just how amazing our distant ancestors were. That's the Ancients from History Hit.
even having like two kids, you'll get to a point where the family and kids stuff will be where it's at, but then I feel like you'll revert to that stage for a few weeks or months where you're like, I just don't care about anything.
Yeah, where it's just like, like
I care about my family. I care about like help supporting them or supporting my fiance or whoever you're involved with at the time. But then other than that, you're like, personally, I don't care what's going on in my life at all.
Right. Yeah. And like it is kind of one of those things, like for me, I think to keep myself afloat and to keep my mental state in like at least a rational, like normal, is to stack things to like look forward to.
Yeah.
That way it's like, I know I have to get to this date because I can, I'm going to go see I'm going to say Blink-182, or I'm going to go see my grandpa for the first time in a year or whatever. Like just find those things where you're always looking forward. And that like I haven't been through like a time for a while now, probably since pandemic, where I've been so low where I'm just like, I just don't care.
Dude,
like,
when pandemic first hit, I was like, I hope I get it, and I hope I die.
You hope it takes you out?
Yeah, I was like, I want to be the first one to go out with this thing. And I literally, like, I remember. God, this is interesting to think about now. But I didn't. There were like period of time when I was living in Gilbert, and I just was like, I'm not washing my hands.
Yeah, that's where you take the hard stance.
I'd go get gas. I'd like pump gas and then like go in, whatever, and sectioned off, and I'd touch everything, and I'd be like, bring it on, dude. And then when I finally got the Rona, dude, I wonder if I should say this. Yeah, I went. Okay. Okay, yeah. I'll say this. This is very funny. I've talked about it on Terrible Person before, and Kate knows all about it. But there was a thing that happened at work, right? And I think it was an event at a farm.
Yeah.
And I had just finished a funeral home story. It was like the first week in November, whatever it was. And I went to this event, and I was like, man, I'm just having a cold. And I was with Kyle, hanging out, screwing around, before anybody got there.
Yeah.
And there's those big like jumping things, like they're like inflatable trampoline
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
I got on one of those and I jumped for like a minute. And I was like, I can't breathe. I was like, I'm out of shape. That's what I thought. And then I walked around and like interviewed people for like, I don't know, an hour or two, just with a microphone that I was like talking into. And
yeah.
And then I felt bad, but I just was like, it's sinuses, it's something else. And then I went and I slept all day long the next day. And the only reason I got out of bed was because I was going to see Tom Segura do a stand-up special with John Jay and Blake, and I just got in their car, and I was like, the whole time.
Like, every part of me hurts.
We went out to dinner, and I was just like, my sinuses are so bad, guys. And then, like, that next morning, I had tested positive for COVID. But John Jay didn't get COVID. Nobody got COVID. But
yeah, I
had no idea, and I went to like all these public events.
Yeah, and that was the thing about, especially like when we get to whatever 2.5 years.
Yeah.
And things seem to be clearing up.
Yeah.
Like, it's really easy to forget
100%.
that like, first of all, people can get sick by anything, obviously. But then when you're 2.5 years in and it seems like everything is cleared up, all of these events are open.
Yeah.
Like, you're not anytime I've been sick, that's not the first thing I jump to anymore.
No.
Whereas for probably 2 years, that's the first thing I thought.
Like, you get the sniffles and you'd be like, it's over.
Yeah. Exactly. And so when you don't, because why would you think about it?
No.
And from that event, like, a lot of people got sick. Like, not COVID, but there were a lot of people that were under the weather
100%.
after that event.
Or
took
people
place.
who were sick who didn't have COVID and they were going to the event, but they were like, it's fine. I just have a cold.
And it's funny looking back on that time now, because it seems like it was so long ago because so much has happened since.
Yeah.
But for me, when it first began, like, I was the exact opposite that you were.
Yeah,
like,
you were spooked, right?
Yeah, well, because like,
well, yeah, kid, you were having a kid.
Yeah.
Your wife was pregnant with your first kid.
Yeah.
And
so Caitlin was pregnant, and they were like pregnant people are high risk.
Yeah.
And so, there was not a question. I'm going to just, stay home and work from home and do what I can because I'm not going to take that risk. And I mean, spoiler, we all ended up with COVID twice in 6 months, 6 months, 2 years later. But I mean, like you said, I don't think people are cognizant of COVID specifically now. Like, my neighbor apparently is really sick right now with COVID because this new strain evidently like develops like into meningitis, or meningitis is like attached to it somehow. I don't know. Like, I look at it like as if you're lacing a drug. It's like, okay, well, now your COVID is laced with meningitis, and apparently he's really going through it. But again, I was sick 2 weeks ago, and about as sick as I think I've ever been. Like, I don't remember the last time I vomited, but I was vomiting like crazy. There was nothing.
You know,
there was not even a part of me that considered that it could be COVID.
The last time, it's funny because COVID happened, right? And I got addicted to this stuff called Kratom.
Yeah, I'm aware.
And it was a great couple years for me. But I was taking so much of this stuff, and I was, because it's like a supplement, you guys. And
they sell it at a gas station.
Yeah, you can get it. Yeah, it's totally good if you can get it. It's very healthy if you can get it at a gas station. I was getting it from a smoke shop, and I was
better.
And I the first time I took it, they were like, "Oh, you're only supposed to," the guy told me, he's like, "Oh, take 2 tablespoons." And I was like, "Okay." So it was powder mixed in water, drank it, slammed it. And then I look on the back of the dosage, and it was like 1.5 teaspoons was like the maximum serving size.
No.
And then I proceeded to be like on the couch sweating. I thought it was over, but I threw up for like an hour. I was like, this is the sickest I've ever been. And then I think COVID was happening, and I kept telling myself I was getting sick like it was COVID. Like every time I'd be like so sick. Like every week I'd be puking. I was constipated. I had all these problems. I was like, it's the COVID, dude. I think I got it this time. So I'd go get tested. I'd schedule an appointment, get tested and stuff. And then it was like a year after everything settled down. I was like, maybe it's the Kratom. And it hit me like one day. I was like, I felt bad for like 2 years now. And I've been taking Kratom for about the same time I felt bad. So maybe those two things are... Do you remember the day?
Related?
Do you remember the day I talked about Kratom on the air and then we had to like pull that break?
Yeah. No, I remember. Yeah, I remember that specifically. And then I also that was... I want to say it was the same week that the Real Bad Break aired.
Yeah.
And, yeah, it was around that time. And so we had a series of bits that shouldn't have aired, but then aired more than once.
I evangelicalized the powers of Kratom before I knew what it was fully capable of.
And I think everybody in the room was like, Grant, you definitely shouldn't be taking this.
Grant, you have a problem with substances.
I think if I remember correctly, you pitched it as like something to help people get off other drugs.
I said that's what other people do.
Oh, okay.
Because I wasn't trying to get off anything. I was just like bored one day, and I was like, what's this Kratom stuff?
I'm going to check it out.
Literally, the dumbest reason to get into anything. I saw it. I was buying like a pipe or a bong or something. I was like, what's this stuff in this jar here? And the guy was like, if you take it, you feel real good.
Like, I'll take 2.
All right, I will take. And I was spending, I think a big bottle of it was like $45. I was spending more money on Kratom than I was weed.
I remember one day I pulled up and I parked and I opened the car door, and like on the ground at the radio station was like a bag, and it just said Kratom real big on the outside. Like it said it in like lettering that you'd see like affliction.
Yeah, I was gonna say
affliction
right.
T-shirts, and I was like, and so then I came in and I was like, hey man, I just saw like an empty bag of Kratom outside. Was that yours? And you're like, no, that's not the good stuff.
I was like, no, that's like a real drug addict.
Yeah, you're
that's trying to.
no, that's
no. I got some.
I
bought some in Sedona. That was the bee's knees, dude. But I'm not driving to Sedona every other week.
Yeah, every other week.
No, substances got a real hold on me right now.
Yeah,
like nicotine.
How to have fun anytime, anywhere. Step 1. Go to ChumbaCasino.com.
ChumbaCasino.com. Got it.
Step 2. Collect your welcome bonus.
Come to Papa Welcome Bonus.
Step 3. Play hundreds of casino-style games for free.
That's a lot of games. All for free?
Step 4. Unleash your excitement.
Woohoo!
Chumba Casino has been delivering thrills for over a decade. So claim your free welcome bonus now and live the Chumba life. Visit ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Each week on Echoes of History, we uncover the epic stories that inspire Assassin's Creed. We're stepping into feudal Japan in our special series Chasing Shadows, where samurai warlords and shinobi spies teach us the tactics and skills needed not only to survive, but to conquer. Whether you're preparing for Assassin's Creed Shadows or fascinated by history and great stories, listen to Echoes of History, a Ubisoft podcast brought to you by History Hit. There are new episodes every week.
Yeah?
Oh my God, dude. I cannot thrive without something.
Well, I think
I'm constantly replacing vices with vices.
I think as long as what you're replacing that vice with is not
as severe,
then that's okay. Like addiction runs in my family, like specifically alcoholism, and like my dad. My dad was such an alcoholic.
Yeah,
like it was like coffee and beer for breakfast.
Do you think
and that was it?
Do you think that then you seeing that you're like, oh, I'm not gonna go down the same rabbit hole?
Yeah, I think I went the opposite way.
Yeah,
I will drink occasionally, but it's not I've never. There are very few times in my life where I'm like, I was out of control that night or that week or whatever. But my dad was like such a significant alcoholic and significant, like he just okay, coffee, beer, cigarettes. That was my dad's breakfast. And like when he got sick and he went to the hospital and they prescribed him fentanyl.
Ugh.
And my aunt, who was a nurse at the time, was like, you cannot give this man this this drug. Like, he is going to
take too much.
Like,
yeah.
this is his new vice. And so I do think that if you're going the opposite way, and I don't know what the opposite way of like alcohol is, but if you're diminishing the prior addiction with something that is less, like, maybe not less addictive, but just less dangerous.
Man, I don't know. I think you're right. I think it's, you got to wrap your head around it that way. But I was like, because I used to dip. Man, dude. God, dude, I just used to be so much cooler than I am right now. It sucks, dude. I'm such a loser.
Now you're counting calories.
Yeah, no, dude, no way. Get out of here with that. I'm eating everything in front of me, man. But no, I stopped dipping, and I was like, because I switched to the pouches because I was like, oh, this is better for me, right? But I was like 2 tins of pouches a day, just like literally just horseshoes up. I was putting them towards the end of my dip. Like, I'd get the pouches, and I'd line them on the top instead of putting them at the bottom because you didn't have to spit.
You're a real man.
Yeah. And so I was doing that.
Wait. So if you put it in the top, why don't you have to spit?
Because your saliva doesn't sit in the tobacco.
Oh.
So then it's just like you're not losing the tobacco, you're not mixing it with your saliva.
Oh.
So it just sits up there, and you don't get the burn in your throat, all that.
Huh.
God damn. Bad idea. Don't, if you guys, listen, don't do drugs, guys. But
I'm not even sure how we got here. Anyway,
I don't know. This kind of took a turn. I didn't mean to get all serious about it. This isn't very fun or funny, is it?
I don't know. They're I think they're fun moments.
But no. So what I was going to tell you is, there's days where I chew nicotine gum now. And there's days where I'm at home and I'm by myself and I'm just pacing around my apartment, like angry, like, fired up, whatever. Like, I'm not getting anything done. Then I lay down and take a nap. I can't take a nap. And I'm like, why do I feel this way? Why do I feel so bad? I'm like, I've chewed like 8 pieces of nicotine gum in the last 30 minutes.
Raging.
And my jaw hurts. And I'm like, oh, man, I got to reel it in. So are you watching The Idol on HBO, Nick?
No, I heard it's awful.
I watched one episode of it.
I heard it's awful. The review that I read, and because I like artistry, but I don't like artists who treat themselves like they're artists. Does that make sense?
Like The Weeknd?
Like The Weeknd specifically. Like The Weeknd, I love his music. I was very much a Weeknd fan.
Well, I mean, you and your boyfriend used to listen to it.
Okay, I get
kidding.
it. I get it. Blinding Lights. That's the song I was thinking of.
That song was.
Oh my god!
That was like peak COVID song too, right?
So, I was really into it, and then I read that. Then when he was like, "I don't want to be The Weeknd anymore. I want to be Abel." I'm like, okay,
you can't.
You're walking that line, and then the first review I read of The Idol. Now, I also don't watch Euphoria, so I'm not in that in
Euphoria is not for us
camp
dude.
either.
It's not for us.
I didn't think it would be.
Yeah.
But so and it was like something along the lines of The Weeknd made this show to service his own self-indulgence, and I was like, okay, then that means I'm out.
Here and also here's the thing about the Weeknd Abel situation that you just discussed, how he wants to be called Abel.
Yeah.
You did the Super Bowl as The Weeknd. You are forever The Weeknd.
Yeah, you're never not going to be The Weeknd.
And people aren't going to be like, I don't know. I mean,
I don't think anybody's going to treat you differently because you decide you want to go by your real name.
Yeah, and it's not somebody dead naming you if they call you The Weeknd. Like, or, don't be offended if somebody only knows you as The Weeknd.
Right.
Because that is, for the last decade, how people know you.
Yeah. I mean, and it is legitimately a decade, and it's like that's what that's not what made you like you're the artist or whatever, but
the show is just flashbacks, all that good times I was having with Kratom. Take me back. No, I just don't. He doesn't do anything for me anymore. I understand he's like a core important artist, I guess, to the times, but I just don't. I don't get it. And also just seeing this show, and the cinematography is great. The cast is fine, I guess, but it's just the amount of gratuitous sex and weird juxtaposition of like sex and violence that like Euphoria has and this show has. I don't get it, man. I want to be like entertained. I don't want, I don't.
Yeah. I don't know that I have the time for like a drama like that in my life.
What's the last drama you watched?
Oh God. I mean, that wasn't like a documentary.
Yeah.
Oh. I mean, do you consider The Mandalorian a drama? I mean,
it's got to be.
I would say it's a sci-fi drama. I mean, it's definitely not a comedy. And so that's it. Like, but like, man, I have to go back and.
Did you watch Ozark?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
No, I mean, honestly, the last drama that I watched, like I watched Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
And then I watched Breaking Bad like 4 or 5 more times.
Did you watch Better Call Saul?
No.
Better Call Saul.
I know. I've heard it's no. I watched the first 4 episodes of the first season of Better Call Saul, and it started so slow.
Yeah, 100.
That it was just like I was like, okay, like, and at that time, and now I'm going back. At that time, I was working 2 jobs. Like 60, 70 hours a week. And so it's like I would sit down and watch it and then fall asleep and then be pissed off.
Yeah, and you're like, I got to
because I didn't get anything from it.
You could probably start at season 4 and just watch seasons 4 through 6.
Yeah.
And be like, whoa.
Does it end in a satisfying way?
The most satisfying way. I almost would say I like the Better Call Saul thing more than I liked Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad fizzled out for me. I thought the last 2 episodes were great, but I thought leading up to it was just kind of.
And I think that's a different time in television too, where like now I feel like creators of shows can set up an arc and they can determine how long the season is going to be and
100%.
how long and how many seasons there are going to be. Whereas at that time, and it wasn't really all that long ago, but at the time it was like the networks would decide how many episodes per season, how many seasons it's going to run. And so you do get like kind of those filler episodes, sometimes even filler seasons, so they can get from point A to point B. And I can see where Lost had that same problem.
Lost was directionless for a while because they had no idea how long it was running, right?
Right. Yeah. And then finally, like Lindelof and Carlton Cruz set an end date because they were like, we can't wade through this stuff, and like ratings were dwindling because it was like a rudderless ship.
I'm dealing with. So I always said I'm going to do 6 seasons of Funeral Home Stories, and it's a book. It's not a podcast, so there's not like the traditional release of episodes weekly or whatever. It's whenever I feel like doing it. And this season, I have an arc for the first 3 seasons, and then I have an arc for the last 2 seasons. But right now I'm in season 4, and I have no arc.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I just have to set up the next 2 seasons basically while, doing the funeral home thing. But it's the hardest thing because I'm just literally like, it's like pissing into the wind. It's like everything I throw out, I'm like, but how does this apply to season 6? And then I'm like, well, does it matter? And then I'm like, well, if these don't matter, why am I writing them? I'm like, why don't I just write season 5?
In a very toxic circle, like your entire existence.
I'm sitting on, I got an episode coming out in like 7 days-ish, and I'm sitting at like 13 pages, and I need to get, I think, 20 more. And I'm just like...
Is that typically what it is?
It's
like
about... Yeah, 50
pages.
30 pages for the free episodes, and then generally if I do a premium, it's like 46 to 50 pages. And the last one...
That is a lot of writing.
A ton of writing. I did a 60-page one. I was going to try and do an hour-long episode, but then I'm just like, why? Like, who cares?
You go back to, point A again.
I just want to... I just want to not do this anymore.
Just live, man.
Podcasting.
Come on, man. Just
like we'll circle back all the way for full circle. I don't really know what this podcasting thing is going to do, but I've put a lot of time into it.
Hey, but that's the thing. You found a lane before that lane got too congested.
True.
And I think that's, if we're going to wrap up this specific podcast, like starting a podcast now
is dumb.
Stupid.
Yeah, don't do it.
Starting a podcast now is stupid. But if you find something like that you're passionate about and you just want to talk about it, like there's nothing wrong with that. But don't think that you're going to be the next Mark Maron.
No.
That time has passed.
I'm glad Caitlin and I on our little podcast, we've got like 12,000 listeners comfortably. And then we have a bunch of people that pay for it.
Yeah, and that's great.
But it's so nice to, like I always tell you, it's so nice to have that outlet where I can just, unlike this, I can actually just go wild because it's not corporately associated with anything. But was this entertaining?
I feel like it was entertaining. I mean, if we're doing real time reviews, it did. I mean, it went deeper than I thought it would.
Yeah, I wasn't planning on that.
I think it pivoted in a kind of interesting way. I think there definitely needs to be like more you.
Dude. We need. I just can't get it. I mean, yes.
You don't. I mean, here's the thing: you don't really know how the chemistry is going to work,
right?
For a little bit.
Yeah.
Like. And we have great chemistry in our room.
The problem
and we have great chemistry when we add a third person because typically it's just us shitting on that third person.
100%.
But you got to find those beats.
Our chemistry in the room is different because most of the time it's me saying something terribly upsetting to you and you laughing at it and then you furthering that bit. And we can't do that here.
Or it's me saying, Grant, don't touch the walkie-talkie. You can't say that on.
Yeah.
You can't say that on the air.
And then I go, watch this.
Like, John Jay, knocking on the window,
throwing my hands up in the air. Yeah. It's a deep cut. That's a deep reference. So Nick, if people want to follow you on Instagram or wherever you're active,
you can find me at Nick Meets World. And that's NIC Meets World.
Sick.
I'm a classy broad.
And don't look for me. Don't follow me. I don't care.
Leave me.
Follow Nick.
Leave me the hell alone.
Yeah, just leave me alone. I don't want to talk about it. Don't tell me how bad this episode was. Don't tell me how a dangerous lifestyle.
I do feel like you're going to get messages.
Dude, who cares? So we're gonna shoot to try and do this like once a week.
I think so.
Okay.
I like you said, if nothing else, even if people aren't entertained, it's an outlet for us.
Can I tell you something that I thought was funny?
Do
you know in like military movies where they show like the military snipers and they're like, "This is my rifle. Without there's many like it, but this one is mine. Without my rifle, I am nothing. Without me, my rifle is nothing." I had a muffin in our little room the other day. You were sitting next to me, and to myself quietly, I was like, This is my muffin. There are many like it, but this one is mine. Without me, my muffin is useless. Without my muffin, I am useless. And then I ate it, and I was like, yeah.
We should end it with the what was the other joke that you had? You were ready with?
Which one? Wait.
The one you told on your podcast. The one to Kate.
Oh,
damn it,
Lenovo.
Yeah.
Have you heard of the Lenovo? There's the Lenovo. What is Lenovo, right?
Yeah, Lenovo.
Yeah, they have
laptop?
They have the ThinkPad.
Yeah, the ThinkPad.
And I came up with an alternative product called the Lenovo TwinkPad, and it's a laptop for like hairless, skinny gay guys. It's like a sleeker, smoother model.
You have to be specific.
Yeah, dude.
No, you don't understand how small this ThinkPad is.
Yeah, it's easy to use. Slippery, some would say.
All right.
We should go.
Okay, bye.
Bye, everyone.
How to have fun anytime, anywhere. Step 1. Go to ChumbaCasino.com.
ChumbaCasino.com. Got it.
Step 2. Collect your welcome bonus.
Come to Papa welcome bonus.
Step 3. Play hundreds of casino-style games for free.
That's a lot of games. All for free?
Step 4. Unleash your excitement.
Chumba Casino has been delivering thrills for over a decade. So claim your free welcome bonus now and live the Chumba life. Visit ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
One lottery ticket makes a big difference for our state students. And when I say big, I mean bigger than jackpot big. Since 2002, South Carolina students have benefited from more than $6 billion in lottery-funded scholarships and grants, including the Life, Hope, and Palmetto Fellow Scholarships. With every lottery play, you're supporting our students, and that adds up in a big way. That's why education is our middle name. Learn more at sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
Your stomach is a mess and you feel lousy. Something is just off, but you don't know what. Yeah, we get it. You've tried every fad diet and supplement under the sun, and none of it worked. Here's the truth. Your gut's a mess, and your body is letting you know. You're just too busy, and you ignore the signs, making it worse. Viome gets straight to the point, analyzing your gut microbiome to give you a personalized health plan that actually works. Your gut is how your body processes everything that you consume. Stop ignoring the signs. It's time to do something real. Get Viome and fix your gut now. Dial **gut to get $110 off any test. That's *488 to receive a link to the offer.